Dear Sangha, welcome to the Day of Mindfulness on this special day of Vesak. We are very happy that you are here with us. Please take your time to settle down, and as you arrive in your seat, come back to your breathing and sit stably while we wait for our friends to come in. Thank you for being here. Dear brothers and sisters, dear friends, we're so happy that you're here. The Sangha have made a lot of effort. We want to start to open up at some point, and this occasion is the perfect day to reopen again. We have been closed since a year and a half, and we're very happy to welcome everyone back. And today we try to open it safely, so thank you for your cooperation of wearing the mask. I'm sharing the Dharma talk, but I'm more than 6 feet away from you, so I won't be wearing a mask because we need to be broadcasting on YouTube. So thank you for your understanding. We will enjoy our sitting posture and our breathing when we listen to the 3 sounds of the bell to start the talk. Dear Sangha, today is the 23rd of May, year 2021. We are at Blue Cliff Monastery with the presence of monastic and lay friends here for the celebration of Vesak. Today we're here to celebrate life, to celebrate the birth of the enlightened being, the Buddha. The Buddha, formerly known as Siddhartha Gautama, is born 2,665 years ago in Lumbini, Nepal. His parents were the king Siddhana and Queen Mahayana of the Shakyan clan. And on his birth, it was predicted that he will either become one of the greatest leaders in the world or the enlightened spiritual teacher. So Siddhartha, or the former Buddha, he left the palace at an early age to become an ascetic, to look for the enlightened path. And at the age of 35, he became enlightened and was lovingly named Buddha, which means the enlightened one. And after enlightenment, the Buddha began to teach many people to help them suffer less and to bring more peace and joy to the world. And he created a monastic sangha of more than 1,000 members in his time. He had taught the Dharma for 45 years. And his teachings continue in many Asian countries. And later on, it was spread to the Western countries as well. So in order to honor and praise the Buddha merits and his great virtues, we gather today to celebrate his birth and to offer our practice. And for this occasion, I'd like to share about the 3 kinds of offerings we can make to the Buddha, to ourselves, and to the people around us. So the Buddha taught us there are 3 kinds of gifts that people can offer. In those times, it was to make offering to the monastic. But for our modern day, we also offer this to people who are in need. So the first gift is the material gift. This is the kind of gift that one can easily donate. You offer what you have, but how to offer this gift so that you can use great benefits. So the Buddha taught us that we can give with our compassion, with our sincerity, and with our clarity. And we understand the need of the other person in order to provide the appropriate gifts. And these material gifts can be classified in terms of clothing or shelter or medicines or food or anything that materially that people need. So this gift is very beneficial, but according to the Buddha, there are two other gifts that can be more long-lasting, and that is the gift of sharing of the Dharma. So Dharma here in capital letter, it means the teachings of the Buddha. And in order to offer this gift, we start by practicing the teachings first. Because once you practice the teachings and you understand what the teachings are and apply it to your daily life to help you to overcome your suffering, then you can offer this gift to other people. And this is also the kind of energy we cultivate called the Holy Spirit. When we are mindful, when we can come back to ourselves and be in the moment, we are cultivating the energy of holiness. And regardless of your faith, whether it's Hinduism or Christianity or Muslim or other religion or Buddhism, anyone can cultivate this gift. And we can cultivate this gift by our daily life. When we walk mindfully, we can offer peace to the earth. When we eat mindfully, we can also save the earth and other people. When we look deeply into our food and we see that the food contains the whole cosmos. It contains the hard-working farmers, contains the water, the air, the fire, the earth, then we feel more appreciated. And we can be truly present for the food we eat or for the water we drink. And today, because we have the celebration of bathing the Buddha, so we won't have walking meditation. But if you come on other days, we will have a chance to do walking meditation together as a Sangha. And the other gift is the gift of non-fear. Non-fear doesn't mean that we do risky things. When I was young, I loved to ski, and I loved to ski on the advanced slope. And I wasn't afraid, so when I ski on that slope, I feel very okay to do that. But now looking back, I can feel there is a lot of risk. But when you were younger, you might not think of that as a risk. But non-fear here means to come back to ourselves, to recognize the fears, the deep fears that are in us. And in order to offer fear, again, we need to overcome our fear. So we come back to the present moment, and we invite our fear to come up. And we look deeply at our fear, and we call it by its true name. And we can be in touch with it, calming it, and then look deeply into it and find ways to transform it. When I was younger, when I was still living in Vietnam at the age of 12, I have a chance to go to the beach in southern Vietnam. It's called Vũng Tàu Beach. And at that time, I didn't know how to swim. And my brother, my elder brother, he's an avid swimmer. So he took me out, and I was in a buoy. And he took me out far, far away. And he thought I was safe because I have that the lifeguard buoy. And at some point I was playing around and the buoy just flipped over my head and I was struggling. So he came over and he rescued me. We swam to the shore. And after that event, I didn't like my feet not touching the solid ground when I swim. And even when I know how to swim, I still have that fear. So every time I swim toward the deep end, I have to breathe a lot and relax. Say, breathing in, I'm no longer the little girl who doesn't know how to swim. Breathing out, I can swim safely. So sometimes our fear is something in the past. It happens many years ago, but we still have that fear, and we hold on to that fear, and it's continued to haunt us without us realizing it. So when we in touch with our fear, we acknowledge our fear, and we recognize the roots of our fear, we can find ways to transform the fear. Like this morning, I have already prepared a PowerPoint presentation for you, and I accidentally deleted, and there's no way to recover it. So I also have fear coming up, like, oh no, like why didn't I save it? Because I was using the PowerPoint on my iPad, and this is the first time I used it on the iPad, so I didn't know how to save it there. So at first I panic, and then I breathe and I say, it's okay, I still know what I want to talk about. And maybe it's still okay to just sit here with everyone present and receive the collective mindfulness energy. And the Vesak is a beautiful celebration. It's a happy occasion. So when I think of that, I transform my fear. And I say, it will be okay. And when I met Nina and I share with her the story, she said, don't worry, it's all in here. So I also trust my capacity of my brain to recall it for me. So sometimes by letting go, we can also feel lighter. Because if I didn't let go and I want to recreate the whole presentation, then I don't think I'll be sitting here with you right now and share the talk. So when you invite your fear to come up, you can talk to your inner child. You can tell him that, dear one, I'm here for you. And you invite the child to share with you his or her fear. And you can tell the child, dear one, you're no longer the little child, you're a big lady now, you're a gentleman now, so you don't have to worry about that fear. It's something in the past. I remember in Vietnam, because our parents afraid the kids would wander into deserted place or unoccupied places, so they usually tell the children that they are ghosts. So I remember my parents telling us that in our basement there's ghosts. So every time I go to any basement, I have this fear coming up that the ghost is following me. But after my teenage year and coming to America, and I learned more about scientific things, so I was able to release that fear, the fear of ghosts. And I feel that, wow, sometimes what adults have told us when we were young, it can haunt us. And we believe that they're real, but actually it's just a way to warn us not to go to those places. So when we talk to our inner child and we tell her that he or she is grown up now and there's no need to be fearful, we can already letting go of the past. The Buddha say, the past is no longer there and the future has not yet come. So we can dwell peacefully in the present moment. And that's what we are here for, to practice mindfulness and to come back to the present moment. When we're in touch with our fear, we can also in touch with the 5 remembrances. So these 5 remembrances are taught by the Buddha. The first remembrance is, I am of the nature to grow old. I cannot escape growing old. And the second one is, I am of the nature to have ill health. I cannot escape ill health. The third one is, I am of the nature to die. I cannot escape death. And the fourth one, all that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature to change. There's no way to escape being separate from them. And the fifth and last one, I inherit the results of my acts of body, speech, and mind. My actions are my continuation. When we are younger, we want to grow up very fast. And when we get older, we want to grow old very slow. Isn't it true? Yes. So sometimes what we don't get is what we wanted. But there's no way to escape old age. Sometimes some of my brothers and sisters teasing me that, you look so young after you ordained for so many years. But I just smile. But I know inside I'm growing old, and because I know my capacity to remember things or to be quick at getting things, to understand things, it's not like the old times. So I know that I'm getting old. When we can recognize that we are getting old, then we can accept ourselves, and we don't push away the uneasy feelings. And growing old has its benefit, right? Because we grow old in wisdom, we grow old in our experiences. So being young also has its benefit, and being old also has its benefits. And I'm the nature to have ill health. I cannot escape ill health. We know that in this pandemic, it has caused a lot of suffering to many people and to many families. And I know of families who have family members who pass away because of COVID. And our hearts goes out with them. And as a Sangha, we have already get vaccinated, and I think most of you already get vaccinated, and those are the good news. Yes. I'm happy that you do your best to get vaccinated, and if you haven't done so, I hope that you would do it soon. One of my friends wrote to me and asked me whether I got vaccinated for my second shot, and I told her yes. And she said, "Don't do it, it's very bad for you." And she lists all this reason why it's bad for me. But I wrote to her, I share that, as an individual, you have the choice, but as a Sangha, we don't have any choice. What I meant is that I have the choice, I have to do it because I want to protect my Sangha, and I want to protect everyone who comes to us. So when I make the choice, it's no longer individual, but it's a collective choice. So whatever choice we make, we think collectively, then it's easier to make the choice rather than just think of our individual self. And the third one is about I'm of the nature to die, I cannot escape death. Sometimes when we think that we can live on forever, then we don't treasure the moments that we have in our life. We think that we still have many years to live, and sometimes we didn't have a chance to do what we want to do, or to say things to our loved ones, what we want to say. One of our friends at Blue Cliff, she shared to me that luckily, before her father was admitted to the hospital for COVID, they exchanged talk on FaceTime, and her father was able to tell her that he loved her and he loved all his children. And that's very precious, because sometimes we live with our loved ones and we don't have a chance to say we love them, then we might regret. We never know the moment we leave the door, we leave our house, if anything happened to us. So today, try to take the time to talk to your loved ones, to appreciate him or her, and to offer love to him or her, to share that I love you. It's very important. The fourth one is about how people who are dear to you and everything you love, they are of the nature to change, and there's no way to escape being separate from them. And we know that during this time, many people are being separated, whether by countries or by the COVID situation. And we do our best to connect to our loved ones, because we know that things can change, and we know that also people can change. I remember sharing to my father about the memories I have with him when I was little, and how I appreciate him to taking care of me when I was younger. In Vietnam during that time, we were poor after the war, so many families cannot afford toys for their children. And I remember growing up, I never have a doll to myself. So one day when I was needing to go to the hospital, and my father, he bought a very pretty doll for me. And I always remember that act because I know that it's not easy for parents to save up during that time to buy their children toys. So when I grow up, I thank him for that gift. And now, he starts to forget a lot, so he won't recall any memories in the past. So I'm glad that I have a chance to share with him early on. So we know that we are of the nature to change, and other people are of the nature to change. So we can accept them for who they are and not asking too much of them. And that one day we will be separate from them. So while we can be together, we can treasure their presence. And the fifth one is about you are the results of your actions of body, speech, and mind, and your actions are your only continuation. The same friends that I was mentioning about, who said that her father said he loves her, he passed away. And when he passed away, I told her to, even before that, I invite her to look deeply, to be in touch with the good qualities that her father had, and to see that those actions that he created, the beautiful actions that he created, is continued in her. And she shared that he loved to do charity work, and he helped many people to create the bank account and to suffer less when they need medicines or clothing. So I share with her that you continue your father. You can see that he is in you. Your generosity, your offering to the monastery, and she began to see that. So when he passed away, she said that she feels very peaceful because she knows that she continues him. So when we are living, we know that our action of body, speech, and mind are very important. Whatever we say, do, or think, they continue in other people. Do you know the butterfly effect by Lorenz? I'm sure there's some of you who heard of the butterfly effect. So he's a scientist, and he discovered that the flap of a butterfly in Brazil can create a tornado in Texas. So whatever we do here, it can have a ripple effect at other places. And we never know how far the effect will travel. So whatever we say, we do, or we think, we can be mindful so that those actions doesn't travel so far. Of course, beautiful actions, we want them to continue so they can travel as far as they can. But the negative actions, we know that we cannot take it back. There's a saying that 1,000 horse or 4 strong horses, they cannot take back what you say, even if they ran as fast as they can. So when we practice the 5 mindfulness trainings, we can be more mindful and live our daily lives so that whatever we do or we say or we think, it can have a good effect on other people and many living beings. So to overcome our fear, we also recognize that as a child, we also have this fear, and Thầy call it the original fear. When we were a baby, we're afraid of not being able to survive on our own and not to have anyone to take care of us. And our father and our mother have to feed us, to bathe us, and to help us move around. So as we get older, these fears continue to follow us, right? We continue to have the yearning to have someone to take care of us, to help us survive. And we're afraid of being lonely, of being abandoned, or of being sick or dying. So we need to face our fear directly and to embrace it and calm it down, so that we can transform our fear. And the best thing to do is to transform our fear with compassion. You see, when a child is crying, and if her mother or her father came to her and say soothing words, then she stopped crying. But if the adult began to shout, then what happens? The child began to cry more, right? So we know that only love can transform our suffering. And another way we can transform our fear is to touch the interbeing nature. We know that we are interact with everything else. We interact with the cosmos, with people around us, with all the living beings and all the minerals around us. And we see that nothing exists by itself alone. Last week I had a chance to go up in Connecticut to chant for one of our friends whose father passed away. And we passed by, we visit a farm, and they have some cows there. And she said that, this farm, they take picture of the cow, and people who want to have a piece of meat from the cow, they get to know who the cow is, and they ask what section in the cow's body they want. And I was thinking to myself, how can you do that? Like, if you see the cow alive, how would you want to eat it? And take a picture and say, this is the cow that I will have one day. So when we feel disconnected from other beings, then we don't touch their suffering, and we create more suffering. But when we can be in touch with other beings, then we can feel their suffering, and we can find ways to create less suffering. And every Dharma, every living things depends on a condition to manifest. We know that when conditions are no longer favorable, then things can discontinue to manifest. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. That thing or that person will exist in another form with other conditions. So when we see that, we don't feel sad. We know that our loved ones are manifesting into something else in this moment. So on this occasion of celebrating the Buddha's birthday, to praise for his contribution to the world and to help many people suffer less, we will express our gratitude through our practice, and through our chanting, and through the ceremony of bathing the Buddha. And to bathe the Buddha is a way to also be in touch with the baby Buddha in ourselves, to see that we also have the enlightened nature, that we have the goodness in ourselves. And when we bathe the Buddha, we actually bathe the good qualities, the wholesome qualities within us. And when we see other people bathing the Buddha, we also see that the baby Buddha and other person is also blossoming. And if you are at home and you don't have a statue of the Buddha to bathe, then you can also bathe your plant. This morning I bathed some of my plants, and I feel like I'm bathing the Buddha, because each plant, each flowers is a representative of the Bodhisattva, of the Buddha to be. So when you water the plant mindfully, you can also water the baby Buddha within yourself. So let us bathe our own baby Buddha with the fragrant water, and water the Holy Spirit within us, so that this energy can grow, and as a collective Sangha, we can bring and offer this gift to many people. And thank you again for your presence and for your practice. And we hope that you enjoy the ceremony of bathing the Buddha in your lunch and the rest of the day. So let us enjoy 3 sounds of the bell.
So, good morning, dear teacher, dear brothers and sisters, dear community. First of all, let us give thanks to our sister for giving a good talk by offering some hand flowers. And now let's take some moment to unfold your leg and just massage your knee and ankle. And again, welcome everyone to Vesak Day. And it's good to see new faces and familiar faces. And I'd just like to have some announcement for today's program. So after this, we will have a short break. And if you'd like to use the restroom, we have a public restroom behind you, near the basketball court. And on the sister side, behind the Jade Candle Hall, there's also a public restroom. The hall is closed to the public at the moment, but you can use the public around the hall. And so after that, you will hear the activity bell invited. And at 11, we will have the ceremony for Vesak and bathing of the Buddha after that at 11. And the brother and sister will arrange the hall. So in our tradition, the brother will sit on the other side and the sister will sit on this side. So we invite our men to sit with the brother if you feel comfortable. But if you like to sit on this side, please feel free to do so. And we invite our women friend to sit with the sister. But if you like to sit on the brother side, you are welcome to do that too. But on whichever side you sit, please place your shoe and slipper So when after the ceremony, we will do walking meditation to bathe the Buddha. So it's more convenient for you to have your shoe on that side. And then we place a sanitizing bottle in front of the door. So just sanitize your hand, just to help each other, to protect each other. And during the ceremony, you will hear a sound above our head. Maybe there's a drone flying, and don't worry, it's us. So we document and we make some video just for information and also to keep record for other purpose. And just ignore that, it's just flying over us. And then after bathing of the Buddha ceremony, then we will have picnic lunch. And the public space is open to everyone, and you can just find a nice spot and just enjoy your picnic lunch. And we thank so much for practicing wearing your mask and also social distancing. But during lunch, you can remove your mask, of course. And then we have trash bin and recycle bin. Please help us to put your trash and also a plastic bottle or bottle you need in the recycling bin. And that's about it. So thanks again for coming. And now I would like to share in Vietnamese for our Vietnamese friends. Dạ, con kính bạch sư ông, con kính thưa quý thầy cô cùng đại chúng. Thì sau đây mình sẽ có nghỉ giải lao một chút. Nếu quý vị muốn dùng nhà vệ sinh thì nó nằm ở đằng sau đó, gần cái sân thể thao, cái basketball. Và sau đó có 11 giờ thì mình sẽ có buổi lễ. Thì trước đó 15 phút mình sẽ nghe chuông thỉnh ở ngoài, thì mình vân tập ở thiên đường này. Thì mời quý vị quý cô á, thì ngồi bên quý sư cô bên này, quý sư cô. Còn quý chú, quý anh, quý em trai thì ngồi bên quý thầy. Còn nếu quý vị nào muốn ngồi ở bên nào thì cứ tự nhiên ngồi. Nhưng mà khi mình ngồi bên nào thì mình cất cái dép ở phía bên đó, để sau buổi lễ mình sẽ có buổi lễ tắm bụt thì nó đi ra nó dễ. Và ở bên cạnh cửa mình có cái nước mà tẩy trùng á, thì mình bấm một cái để trước khi mình tắm bụt, để cho mình bảo vệ nhau về sức khỏe, và mình cứ tiếp tục giữ cái mặt nạ để mình đeo để bảo vệ nhau. Rồi trong buổi lễ mình có nghe âm thanh, có cái máy quay phim bay trên trời, cái kệ quý thầy quay để mai mốt để làm tư liệu rồi thôi. Và sau buổi lễ tắm bụt rồi mình sẽ có ăn trưa picnic, là ăn trưa tự do ở ngoài đó. Mời quý vị mình cứ tìm một cái chỗ ngoài nào đó thì mình ngồi ăn. Và có những cái thùng rác và thùng recycle, mình bỏ cái chai nhựa vào cái thùng recycle, còn trash thì bỏ vô cái thùng rác. Và bên cạnh nhà ăn quý thầy có một cái khu vực giống như để bàn sẵn ăn picnic á, mời quý vị đến đó có thể dùng. Dạ, con xin cảm ơn đại chúng rất nhiều. So there are picnic table in that area near the Brothers Dining Hall. You can also use it. Yeah. Again, thanks so much for joining us.